A Guide to Writing Cover Letters, provided by UIC Career Services. My name is Stephanie Sattler, and I'm your friendly neighborhood career advisor, here to offer you some tips to make this process of writing cover letters a lot easier and a lot less scary. First and foremost, let's walk through what the purpose of a cover letter is. Well, it's to convey match with an organization, showing them that you're not just looking for any job, but you're looking for a job with them. So you really want to tailor it for every company you're applying to. Remember, however, it's just the highlights. You don't have to rehash everything from your resume. That's a little too much information. But you do want to showcase what you really bring to the table and what you really want to make them pay attention to when they do read your resume. Also, it's a business format, which makes it look a little weird and a little bit less of what we're used to today, but that's because it's a professional letter and you want to communicate that you are a professional. And finally, we're going to present to you the rule of 3, which is going to give you a structure to make cover letter writing a lot easier. So what is this fantastic rule of 3? Well, borrowing from psychological concepts, we want to make sure that we're not presenting more information than the human brain can take in and remember, and usually that's around 3 chunks of information. So with that in mind, there's 3 parts on a cover letter, and there's also 3 skills. So you really want to just focus on showcasing these 3 parts, and within those 3 parts, highlighting 3 skills or strengths that you bring to the role. No more, no less. That's all you need. So what's the first part? Part 1 is addressing the question why. Why are you writing, why you like the organization, and why you're a fit. For part 1, why you're writing, you really want to talk about the position, what you're applying to, at what company, and mentioning a source if you have one, by name, especially if that person is currently in the organization. Feel free to include their name. Secondly, what you like about the organization, feel free to flatter them a little bit. It's okay to say what impresses you about them so that they see that you're a good fit and that you're genuinely interested in working for them. And finally, why you're a fit. This is where you start to connect on the level of mission or similar goals to the organization. This might require a little bit of research, finding out what is it that motivates this company and what genuinely do you connect with. So what does that look like in actual cover letter language? Well, for the first part, you want to be very direct and say you're writing to apply for position's name at the company's name. Here, once again, if you know someone who works there, feel free to mention them. For the second 2 parts, you can actually combine them together, showing a little bit of flattery and what impresses you about them, as well as showing how that connects to you. So take a look at this and see how that might look in context. See how you're connecting with their mission? Part 2 is the proof section. Now remember, you only need to mention 3. 3 things that you bring to the table, 3 skills or strengths that you know are relevant for the role, and also backing them up with some concrete examples that give both context and a result, which proves you have what it takes. Think about, first and foremost, sharing what role is this attached to? Where were you working? And what was your title? Did you in any way impact the company's bottom line by either saving money or reducing costs? Or perhaps you improved performance or improved satisfaction. Or maybe you just made it a more positive and friendly environment. All of those things are results or purpose-driven, which makes your examples seem impactful. This is precisely what proves to your potential employer that you have the skills they're looking for. Let me share an example with you. Take a look at this and see evidence of both the context as well as result. And as you see, you don't have to do it in a long, wordy way. You can do it in 3 sentences or less. And that's really your goal in writing a cover letter. You want to be descriptive, but you also want to be succinct. So it's a happy medium between the 2, finding that happy balance. And of course, to finish this section, tie it back to the role. Make sure that you mention how these skills could be utilized in context in the role you're now applying. It's a great way to finish. Okay, we're at the final section of our three-part cover letter, and this is the thank you section. Very, very easy section to start with. If you're feeling intimidated at all about cover letter writing, I recommend starting here. It's very easy to say thanks, but of course you want to do it in a polite, professional, enthusiastic way. So make sure you say thank you and I appreciate. Avoid any slang or anything that can make you seem a little bit more casual. You want to stay on the professional side. Of course, make sure your enthusiasm continues to come through in this section by saying something like, I look forward to hearing from you, or I'm excited to explore a match between myself and your organization. All of those sort of things will showcase that you're really interested in them. And then the final thing, this is optional, but some students decide to include an intent to follow up in their cover letter. And if you do so, I would mention maybe the week you're planning to do so and actually follow through and take it seriously if you're actually taking that extra proactive step. So that's the final part. And again, if you're feeling intimidated by writing a cover letter, start with this final part because it's pretty easy. It usually stays the same throughout, no matter where you send it, probably stays very similar. The first section, the why, that one is usually tailored to a role because you're reaching out to an organization and specifically saying what you like about them, right? So you want to make sure to do your research there. The middle section, which is the proof section, what skills you're bringing to the table, focused on you a little bit more, that might stay similar if you're applying to similar roles. Now it's going to change if the roles are a little different or the company's looking for different things, so make sure you reference the job description to know if it's something you want to switch up a bit, but share relevant examples there depending on the role. And then finally, the thank you section. A lot of times students will copy and paste this section for various organizations because they're saying thank you in a very similar way. So to those that are wondering, does a cover letter need to change every time I send it out? The answer is unfortunately yes. You do need to tailor it, but you can borrow from sections from previous cover letters if they relate and if they apply to the position you're now interested in. And hopefully you're kind of looking in the same area, and therefore it's just a matter of slightly tailoring it. So thank you for watching this video on cover letter writing. I hope this has helped the process make a little bit more sense to you, but if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to Career Services. Thank you.